Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing another Doctor Who comic book review of the 13th Doctor. Seems to be a bit of a trend at the minute, which is a bit weird. But yeah, it's issue 1 of the 13th Doctor and 10th Doctor team up / crossover sort of thing. Obviously it's still published by Titan Comics, this one, and yeah, on the front you've got this very interesting picture of and/or drawing of Jodie Whittaker holding the TARDIS and David Tennant's inside, which is quite intriguing, and yeah, just a very striking visual-like thing. I know someone that I know said that this didn't look like Jodie Whittaker, but again, I think it's just that person's interpretation. It's just an artistic expression, and that I love the blue. The blue is very, TARDIS blue. And then the purple is very a very good contrast, I think. And then this ring of energy, which is quite interesting. On the back, you've just got all these like quotes from different outlets and that, saying how amazing the 13th Doctor comics are and that. Then you've also got like this thing about like the 13th Doctor Christmas issues that I have already reviewed on the channel, so if you want to see those, please feel free to do that. What's happening next time when it's released, the different variations of covers. I really do like this one, but I say unfortunately, but I think that's probably going to be the standard one cover. Although actually it might be these ones. Oh no, these were the other variant covers of this current one that I've got physically here. What else is out by some other stuff out by Titan Comics? So Sherlock, Rivers of London, Robotech and Life is Strange in that. So they have varied comics, to say the least. Little bit of a bio on Martha Jones, Ryan, Yasmin Khan, Graham, the TARDIS, 13th Doctor and the 10th Doctor. And then a bunch of other stuff, like, of all the different, graphic novel-y things. And then also Titan Comics website, Twitter, and Facebook. And that. Then you've got the writer, artists, colorists, and whatnot on this side. Feel free to pause that if you want to have a look at who those people are. And then you've got, the rest of the comic. You've got this really cool picture of London and that, and all these birds as well. You've got Martha and that as well in this issue, which then brings up a thing in my head, which is that I don't think she's in much Expanded Universe stuff. She's in a few books, I think, with the 10th Doctor. I don't think they've ever done all with Big Finish and Martha, really, with the Doctor, which is a bit of a missed opportunity, really, in my opinion. And I think this might be her first comic book debut. It's also got Weeping Angels in it. Spoiler alert, but yeah. Or they're on the lookout for some Weeping Angels. And then you've got this really interesting, nice, panel with all with like little references to some of the other Doctors. You've got the 9th there, 1st, 10th obviously, 11th and 12th Doctors, which I always love little Easter eggs like that, whether it's in the show or whether it's in a book or a comic book in this case, Yeah, I'd say Jodie's alright. Like, in panels like that, she's pretty decently drawn, but in some other ones, it's a bit like, I guess she does have a tendency to pull those sort of faces, that sometimes people have made pretty vocal online that they really don't like. I love the callback to Blink, however, with this house, and, it is very much, that is where they are in the timeline. He's even got that sort of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey device thing, which is just what I'm calling it for the sake of this review. The wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey machine. And it just looks so just sort of cobbled together. I just love stuff like that, you know, whether it be Ghostbusters or Doctor Who or Rick and Morty or whatever, you know, when they just go wild with it, you know, for an episode, you know, they don't just rely on, you know, the old reliables, as it were, you know, the Sonic Screwdriver or the TARDIS or whatever, you know. TARDIS is only featured really obviously at the beginning. It's very sort of brightly lit and coloured and that. They have this like sort of TARDIS sort of zhuzhing about in space, kind of, but not really, and I don't know why that is, but yeah. The box has actually been done well as well, you know, it is like the Jodie Whittaker one, so the attention to detail is there, you know. They could have easily just maybe tried to do it like the Tennant box, maybe, you know, but obviously us real fans would have known. And that, I love the fact that there's this ginger woman who then the Doctor is like, oh yeah, I wish I was ginger, sort of thing. I like that bit. And yeah, I think the thing is with this issue, what you've got to take in consideration if you do buy this and you're a bit apprehensive, is that it is the first issue of a crossover event and or team up. So it's setting up. It's basically, I'm reviewing like part 1 of a 2-parter, so I can't really get a whole picture from just this one issue, but it's a good starting point. It's a good sort of interesting enough sort of story. I do want to get the next issue, but that's just me. If you didn't already know by this channel, I'm obsessed with Doctor Who, you know, or as I like to call it, a passion personally, but other people say I'm obsessed, but whatever. The point is that, yeah, it's a starting off point, and I think Titan, maybe the 13th Doctor Titan comics haven't been doing too well, I'm not sure. Maybe that's why they've roped in the 10th Doctor, maybe that's why they've done this issue. Maybe they just thought, you know, obviously David Tennant was so popular way back when, bring him back, sort of thing, you know. It's just kind of, or maybe they just thought the main show itself is quite honestly referencing quite a lot of that Russell T Davies era. Let's, as a sort of side spin-off branch, expanded universe branch of Doctor Who, why don't we do the same thing, you know? You know, if they've looked at the main show, you know, which, let's face it, the main show, this series 12, have been referencing a lot of Russell T Davies, David Tennant era stuff, and so yeah, it just makes, if anything, this may have been just inevitable, you know, or yeah, when they were in early production or pre-production on series 12, maybe the Titan Comics contacted the BBC and were just like, you know, what are some of the things that you might be doing, and, you know, oh, you're doing a lot with Tennant, could we actually do a story with Jodie and the 13th Doctor and Tennant, you know? You know, a lot of the companions don't do much of anything. If anything, I think they get overshadowed by Martha, honestly. But in some ways, Martha, it just feels like we're just trying to establish where we are in the timeline with those two, you know, because again, it is the main crux and or the main lead is, I guess, the 13th Doctor and the 13th Doctor and the that TARDIS crew, I guess, you know. But yeah, and it was really interesting seeing the 13th Doctor interact with a previous companion who wouldn't have noticed that it was the Doctor, because obviously she's female now, so that was interesting. But yeah, I think it's a good starting point, and I'm really interested to see where it'll go in the next issue. So yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate, and subscribe.